Hey guys, welcome into another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell here with Glenn Martin. We're starting a new series similar to what we did with the AFC North Roundup, where we broke down position battles and things like that. This is going to be different, though. We're going to be doing a player profile and projection for Ravens players. So we're going to dig into their historical statistics and talk about some things we'll see change moving forward as far as stats go, but also how they'll evolve as players. We'll also identify some guys we see as standouts throughout this process as far as high potential for improvement from previous to the upcoming season. So I'm really excited to get into this. Glenn, we're going to start with the most important player in the NFL, in the Ravens huddle, and in our hearts, Lamar Jackson. So let's get right into it, Glenn. Why don't you talk about his historical statistics? We'll use that as kind of like a table setting, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so last year, Lamar played in 15 games, since we were fortunate enough to seal everything up with just those, and we could give him a break in the 16th. So in 15 games, he completed 66% of his passes for 3,127 yards, and then he had 36 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. And then, of course, that's not all, because he also ran the ball quite a bit. He ran it 176 times for 1,206 yards. That's just under 7 yards a carry. And he also had 7 touchdowns, Jimmy. So with that being said, such a historic season, an MVP season, a season unlike we've ever seen before by a quarterback. What's it going to look like this year? I mean, we've said in previous videos, there's a lot of continuity, a lot of familiar faces coming back to this offense outside of the departure of retiring of Marshall Yanda. But a lot of the other guys are back. So the coaching staff is the same. The system's going to be the same. What are your first thoughts on how his season will look a little different this year?
Right. So as far as statistics go, this is the word that I'll use to preface my comments, and it's going to sound crazy, but efficiency and recognition are the two words. What I mean by that is I think that as far as his rushing attempts go, I think that number will go down. I think that his overall rushing yards will also go down. But I think that his long rushing attempts will go up. So what I mean is that he'll be able to recognize the opportunities that are the most advantageous and really bleed it for everything it's got, right? Like last year, he only had 1 rush for over 40 yards, which is crazy to think about because he had so many highlights rushing the ball.
Yeah.
But
he had 11 over 20.
Right. And I think that, man, that kills you. But I think that we'll see more over 40 where he just turns it into a track meet, yeah. A lane and just bleeds it. But I think we'll see less attempts. This is where I think we'll see the jump. I think that based on the improved personnel we have in the wide receiver core, another year in the system, added confidence, another offseason working with Josh, our guy, Josh. We're excited to have you on the show again soon, hopefully. I think that we'll see an uptick in passing yards. So I think he's going to break 4,000 passing yards.
Wow.
I know that's a serious jump, but I think that the deep passes are going to increase, and the deep completions are going to increase because now you got Hollywood. Of course, you got the evolution of Boykin, and hopefully he'll improve. But you also got Andrews, who's a big play tight end, and then Duvernay, who's a bullet. And that's not even thinking about Prochet or Snead. But as far as long passes go, I think those chunk yards will increase his passing yards up to 4,000. So those are some of my projections based on Lamar. What about you? Am I crazy?
Well, I don't think you're crazy. I think that would be a 900-yard increase in passing and a 400-yard decrease. Did you give your number actually on the show or just before?
No, I think I did before. What did I say? 800, right?
Yeah, around 800 yards.
Yeah.
So that would be a 400-yard decrease in rushing. It's something I could see because I think that with drafting Dobbins and still having Gus and still having Ingram, you lessen maybe his need to carry the ball. But I think you still have to have that threat there in order to maximize the value of those other guys and of your offense. So he's still going to carry the ball, and I think getting 800 yards gives you that ability. I mean, obviously, to get to 800 yards, you still got to carry the ball quite a bit. But what I would say is I think you touched on my thing is the long runs. I think we saw a ton of runs last year where Lamar lost his footing or just barely got tripped up. you saw the growth, not just in his game, but in his physical, in his body that he put into that offseason last year. You pointed out how much thicker his neck was. His shoulders he just looked like a bigger guy. So I look at this offseason and why expect any different? I think that we can expect the leap to be the same as he did last season. I heard the buzz around the NFL execs were how impressed they were with his improvement in his accuracy. So if the accuracy goes up, as well as he grows more into his body. I mean, he's only 23 years old. He's not even hit his full maturity as a man yet. So he's going to be thicker. He's going to be more accurate. So I think that the longer runs are going to be more possible because he'll be able to run through those arm tackles that last year were tripping him up, or he'll be able to run with just a little bit more strength and won't be as easily to knock off his feet or knock off balance, which we saw quite a few times. So I think his total number of long runs could certainly go up. But I do think that the Ravens are going to make an effort to lessen his attempts a little bit. I mean, 176 carries last season is a lot. So I do think that they will lessen those. But I think the numbers could end up being closer to what we saw last season in total yards just because of the increase in big plays. So I would say I'm going to still say he's going to get to the 1,000 mark rushing. I think he wants to get back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, something that obviously we never seen a quarterback do one. So getting back-to-back would certainly set the bar very high from a running quarterback perspective. But as far as passing, I think we see that yardage total go from 31 to, I'm going to say, at least 3,600. That's where I'm putting it at, 3,600. Now, are we going to see the 36 touchdowns to 6? That ratio to me, we're in Baltimore. We're used to seeing Joe Flacco numbers. I mean, these are insane. And I love Joe. But numbers-wise, I mean, what we saw from Lamar was unbelievable. I mean, his efficiency in the red zone was something I don't think anyone could have ever dreamed he would be that good in the toughest place to throw the ball. But we know his legs present quite a big problem for the defense, and they have to account for both when doing it. But so I don't know if his ratio will be plus 30 interception to touchdown, but I see no reason why his touchdown numbers can't stay up the same. Now, like I said, his interceptions may go up a little bit, but that's just because – and it's mainly just because I can't even believe it. It's like, how can he be this good again? So I don't want to put that pressure on that he's going to be plus 30 touchdown to interception ratio. But I still think that there's no reason to expect him not to go for over 30 touchdowns and still under 10 interceptions. So I'm going to say 32 touchdowns and 8 picks, which is still insane and an incredible season. But I think we could see maybe his rushing total touchdowns go up. Even though his total carries go down, I think his red zone – look, you can't replace the weapon that he is in the red zone. I mean, you can't. You have to either sell out to defend the pass or sell out to stop the run. You cannot play both with Lamar. So, I mean, I just feel like his threat with his legs makes him just so devastating in the red zone. I think we could see his rushing total touchdowns maybe get up near double digits, and I'm going to say he's going to get up to 9 rushing touchdowns. All right, so I got 32 passing, 9 rushing to 8 interceptions. With 3,600 passing yards and 1,000 yards rushing. So
wow.
Still got a great shot at winning MVP. I'd like to see someone beat that numbers out for MVP.
Seriously, no, and you make a case for it. I'm glad you brought that up because, I was thinking the same thing where, I mean, there's so many plays I can recall last year. I think of the Patriots game, but there's other ones where he walks into the end zone. I mean, untouched. No one is even close by. So I think that keeping, why complicate things when they're working so well? And like you said, the space in which they're playing is so small that it doesn't give defenses time to recover. If you commit to one, you can recover after he gets to the second level and he's gone 15 yards and you push him out of bounds.
Yep.
But he's already in the end zone if you're on the 2-yard line. It's too late now. So, I agree with you. I think that I think 9 is a good number. That would be insane if he threw for 32 touchdowns. And imagine if he had double-digit rushing touchdowns.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's just such a – and, you mentioned this double-digit touchdowns. He had 71 rushing first downs. 71. Do you know – I mean, I remember hearing defenders talk about it. There's nothing worse than when you feel like you've done your job to a T, you've covered your guys, and you look over, and there goes the quarterback. rushing for 8 yards and a first down. I mean, it takes it out. It's more than just the first down. Is what it does psychologically to the defenders. It makes you feel hopeless. It makes you feel like, what can we do? We can't do any, and that's what he does to defenders.
Yeah, it's absolutely demoralizing. The other thing, too, you got to think about these stats are based off of a number of games where, he didn't play in the 16th week, but also how many games was he on the sideline by the end of the third quarter?
Yeah.
So,
and also you mentioned before the show, he averaged 7 yards an attempt rushing. How many of those are, how much higher would that number be? Would it not be tainted with kneel downs at the end of games?
right.
How many total kneel downs that counts as a 2 yard loss on a carry? So you take out what? I mean, I think we could safely say it was around 10 for the season, right?
Safely.
Okay, so 10 kneel downs at negative 2 yards. You take that out of the equation, then his averages even go higher. So, I mean, I think that he could put on a season this year that could just totally – I mean, he already had the NFL world by storm. I mean, I think he could put on some insane numbers this year.
And this is the crazy thing for me about Lamar is I think that his physical abilities obviously are unmatched at his position, my opinion.
Yeah.
Athleticism, I mean, I think he's already – people will say Mike Vick, but I think that Lamar Jackson is the most athletically gifted quarterback that there has ever been.
Yes.
And I'll argue with anyone till the cows come home who speaks otherwise, but I think that's absolutely the truth. The fact that he laughed at the 40-yard dash proposal in the combine
yeah,
alone still cracks me up. But what is happening, I think is really cool, is that his arc of natural athleticism is still at an all-time high. But like you talked about, his commitment to his physical conditioning is also still going up, right? Like the idea that he could be more explosive based on his offseason regimen and lifting than he was last year, just pure explosion. That's insane. And then he's also mentally becoming a better player at recognizing things, reading defense and stuff like that. And then on top of that, from an emotional standpoint, he's still evolving as a leader. He's going to get better. So all those things are still going up. Like nothing is going down. But I'll tell you what, Glenn, I'm concerned about one thing.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, my dad always said, and this is a cliche, but if it's too good to be true, usually isn't true. Right? So the thing I worry about with Lamar is, remember the like old school Minesweep game?
Mm-hmm.
Where like you're playing and you're waiting, you know what's going to happen. You're going to click the button and you just feel it. And then boom, it just nukes the whole thing. I'm concerned that his style concerns me. Now, he does a really good job at mitigating risk by trying to get out of bounds, and he doesn't take a ton of hard hits. But I still think back to that Texans game. That was a hard hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think back to that Jets game when he broke the record and he got walloped.
He did.
So I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, let me help you.
Yeah, please walk me off the cliff here.
Well, I'll talk you off the cliff. I ain't going to walk you off the cliff. I'll bring you back. All right. Lamar's ability, his uncanny ability to avoid big contact is obvious. I think you pointed out to a few hits that he took that were big shots, but it was only a few. It wasn't a lot when you consider how many times he ran the ball 176 times. I mean, what would you say, a handful of times he got hit really good?
Yeah.
All those times, I think, were just reminders. Every time we talk about Lamar, every time he talks with other quarterbacks when they meet halfway, what do they always say? Get down, stay safe. Aaron Rodgers said it. Get down, stay healthy. And everything to me has pointed Lamar is two things. He's a very intelligent player, but he's also a great decision maker. Not just where he throws the ball or who he throws the ball to, but also how to we saw, and I hate to bag on Joe. I love Joe. But we saw there were times with Joe where he would forget the down and maybe instead of slide, he would throw the ball out of bounds when we need the clock to run, or he would step out of bounds when we need to, just little things. Lamar just doesn't seem to make those blunders on the field. He just seems like he always is playing, he's always doing the right thing and playing really smart. So I think that when you consider that his body maturation has still not gotten to where he's a full, grown man yet. So we're going to get a bigger Lamar, which means you can absorb more punishment. We're going to get a guy who I think will be given less designed runs this year. So you're taking away some more punishment. You're talking about a guy who gets hit in the pocket, I feel like, much less to a much lesser degree than your classic statue stand in the pocket throwers, because a lot of times they're blindsided, they're hit when they're more vulnerable. Lamar just doesn't take shots like that. He gets out of there. He's a reason why Stanley gave up 6 pressures all year, because they can't pin their ears back and go after Lamar because they know he'll run. So I feel like he takes less hits in the pocket than most quarterbacks. If you look on the I don't have the data, but I watch every snap. But I feel like he takes so many less in the pocket hits that, and then he says that uncanny ability of not taking big shots outside the pocket, that actually if you took his total number of big shots, I think it's perfectly comparable to the pocket quarterbacks that you see around the league. I mean, we see tons of pocket quarterbacks get hurt in the pocket every year. I mean, every year. We pointed them out last year, every week. Oh, there goes another pocket guy in the pocket getting hurt. So this notion that he's somehow safe in the pocket, I think is just off. And I know you know that, but people can say, look, 176 rushes. But how many of those 106 rushes was he actually tackled to the ground?
Right.
You know what I mean? I just feel I have a lot of confidence in Lamar. And I know you're right, but it could happen any moment. But it could also happen any moment in the pocket, just like it has to Big Ben, just like it has to Drew Brees, to Peyton Manning, to Tom Brady. Every one of those great players has been hurt inside the pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you know what? You're right. And I was defending Lamar till the cows came home last year about the same things that you're saying, because as he was, in his ascension, the midst of people were saying he's going to take a hit. He's going to take a hit. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt. I guess the thing to remember is that Lamar's been hearing this his whole life. It's not like he just started playing this way.
Right.
Right. So, and I realize the guys are bigger, faster, stronger now.
So is he.
So it's like, yeah, I feel better now. You helped reel me.
Good.
I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm really interested in those projections. I'm gonna say he's gonna go 30 plus in the touchdowns, just to button up my projections as well. I don't have an exact number. I'm gonna say 30 plus. But this is what I will say. I think his ratio is gonna be the same.
Plus 30 or better.
Yep, I think it's gonna be the same, and I think that Lamar, as long as he maintains his threat to run, based on the way the defense has to play, he creates more open spaces for his offensive weapons.
Yeah.
And I think that he can maintain that ratio. I really do. You talked about he's a good decision maker. His the fact that he's a dual threat quarterback makes defenses play differently, makes them hesitate, and I think it helps his guys get open. And so, yeah, I feel confident that he's going to maintain that ratio. So whatever it is, I think it's
MVP.
Woo! You know what? I don't think he's going to win it. It's just hard to be back to back.
It is, but a lot of it is team success, and I think we both agree the Ravens are going to be damn good this year.
You're right, and I tell you what, absolutely, but he'd much rather be in that Super Bowl, holding up that Lombardi, man.
I think he's going to do both, but we'll save that for later on. I got a lot of confidence in our Ravens this year, but we're here only to talk about Lamar. But anyway, let us know. We're going to continue to go around this roster. We're going to go around and point out a lot of our key contributors on both sides of the ball, and just give you a recap of what they've done in their career, and then our projections of what they'll be doing this upcoming season. So make sure, if you want to put in the comments any players you'd like to see us discuss, or if you disagree with our comments on Lamar, give us your predictions. And come on back and we'll talk soon.
See ya.